Sean Salisbury here for Open Sports. Let's get some fan questions in. And for one fan who sent me the question about the college football playoff, I'm going to answer your question on Wednesday as I study the situation and study your great blog and find out exactly how I feel. But I'll answer that question for you on Wednesday and give you an answer right here on video. A couple other questions. One's about the Raiders and Al Davis and the black hole, and we know that's a very, very fun place to be a fan and a difficult place for opposing teams to go. But the black hole has actually become a black hole for the Raiders themselves. But the question basically is, has Al Davis done some good things, or is this team going to suffer for years to come? I grew up an Oakland Raider fan. Years ago when I was in high school, I may not have been able to be unbiased about this, but I can be now. The Oakland Raiders are as bad a franchise as there is in sports right now. There really is. And they got to fix it, because that pains me to say, because I love the silver and black. And I respect Mr. Davis, but there comes a time when you've got to make choices, and choices to get somebody else in there to run the operation. And ego's got to go aside. If you want a commitment to excellence instead of commitment to crap and mediocrity, things have got to change. Mr. Davis is still sharp, made unbelievable changes in the NFL, and been a tremendous pioneer and done great things and has Super Bowl rings. But you know what? We all get to a point, okay, where somebody else needs to take over, and the Raiders are at that point. Because as I mentioned about organizations, it goes ownership, general manager, head coach, quarterback with continuity. The Raiders haven't had any of that in a long time. So let's take, they change coaches, they change, quarterbacks. It's a regular basis. Now, let's look at some of the things that Al Davis has done well recently. I believe Jamarcus Russell can be a player with the right coaching. Can he get it in Oakland? They better hire the right people. And who's going to take that job that Mr. Davis allows to be a coach and to do the things that he needs to do to run the football team right? Bill Parcells turned it over to Tony Sperano, as did Wayne Huizenga to Bill Parcells. Look at the success Miami's had. The Raiders aren't far off. You look at some of the talent they have on that team. Asamoah, who's one of the great corners in the league. Nobody even likes to challenge him. They've done some great things there. Their offensive line is going to get better. They draft Darren McFadden, who has a chance to be a superstar in this league. We know what kind of talent he is. Johnny Lee Higgins is a great returner, and as he continues to develop his game, he's got skills. Jamarcus Russell was hopefully a great pick, but we don't know until we see him develop. So there's been some good things by the Raiders. The Raiders have done some good things, but 4 or 5 players does not a Super Bowl champion or a division champion or a playoff team make. You've got to have continuity. Al, now the things that he hasn't done well, you've got to settle on a coach and let him play through the crap. You've got to settle on a coach and allow him to have a bad season, and then to have 3 good ones. You've got to be patient enough to allow your guy to turn a franchise around. Ken Whisenhunt in Arizona. The Bidwells have had a habit of doing that, and they finally said enough, and they got Ken Whisenhunt, and they're rolling through it, and guess what? They're in the NFC Championship game. The Raiders, if they can get the continuity and hire a coach that stays there and get that quarterback going, Jamarcus Russell, who is the quarterback, and then goes out and drafts well and starts to get people that they build around, and you build around a defense. Remember old Raider Nation, the Raiders? It was dominant, nasty, mean football, and find a way to always close and finish. Then they got, from the Mark Van Egens of the day. Now they got Darren McFadden. They got something to build on. Get yourself the front office right. Get yourself a head coach. So that's where. Are the Raiders going to be in a black hole forever? Absolutely not. This league is cyclical. Things change. Heck, there are certain teams who can get out of it. We've seen teams get out of it and get out of it in a hurry, and the Raiders can. But it starts at the top with this franchise, and you've got to start to develop where people want to go to Oakland, not want to get out, and that's the problem. So I, as a Raider fan, and now not a biased fan anymore, but because of my career, but still, football's better when the Raiders are competitive. It is. And the Raiders do not have a commitment to excellence yet. They need to make some changes. But they've done some good things with some of the guys they got around. But they got to do far more good things to be competitive, because the rest of the NFL, the good teams, are a long ways away ahead of the Raiders because of their continuity and their consistency with the people that are in important positions to make decisions. That's one. The other one, I was asked, what position would I take as a coach, and would I consider just NFL, or would I consider college, and where? You know what? I mull this over every single year. I love being around the competition. I guess that's the one thing you miss when you're not playing, is being around that, go out through the tunnel and compete and put a game plan together. There's so many great coaches in this league. Do I believe I can do it? Absolutely. Do I think about it all the time and write plays down and go over in my mind how I'd attack a defense or how a defense would attack me? Absolutely. Would I coach in the NFL? Yes. Are there certain guys I'd love to coach for or coach with? You bet. You bet. Heck, who wouldn't want to coach with Bill Belichick? While he's tough, Bill does it the way I love it. I think Bill Cowher would be great. I mean, any of these guys. If the right situation came about, I consider it every year. I've been offered before, and I will continue to mull them over. And I hope somebody beats down my door and gives me an opportunity. I've never hired a football coaching agent. Maybe I should. I'm in the broadcast business, but I'm just being completely honest. Do I think I can do it? I think I could do a damn good job because I know football. My ego wouldn't get in the way of coaching. We all have an ego. Let's not kid ourselves. But I understand the game, and I understand what goes on, and I'm a student of it. But I'm also competitive and understand, I think, what it takes to win. Now, am I saying that I can do what the head coaches do? No, I need a lot. I'm not ready to be a head coach. Okay, and I still would need to be a quarterback coach first, and hopefully within a quick period of time be an offensive coordinator and then be a head coach. That's what I'd like to do if I got out of what I'm doing now. And if the right situation came up, I would interview for it and strongly consider it. And it wouldn't matter as long as you're around good people and a good organization. I could care less. Okay, I mean, it doesn't matter. Detroit, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, New England, Oakland. I could adjust anything. I love the college game. Yes, I could coach in college. Would I be the guy that only has to coach at USC because I'm an alum there? No, I wouldn't. Heck, I would have considered going to Tennessee with Lane Kiffin if that situation would have ever been open. I'd consider a lot of Auburn, who I think is a great football program. You got to get the right people in place in certain places. Yeah, I love football, and I would consider it and will continue to consider it. You know, I'm still at a young age and young enough to, I think, hopefully make an impact. So, yeah, I would like to consider it. I'm fortunate you go around and you're around great coaches, and I study coaches and their way they do it. And how awesome they are, and different approaches for different ways. You got the elegant and the way that Tony Dungy handled himself without yelling and screaming, and then you got the guys that are fired up, and Bill Cowher getting after it on the sideline. And you know what? There's no one special way. But for me, yes. And every year that goes by, I consider coaching strongly more and more because I do have in the back of my mind a goal to be a head coach, and I would love that. But to be a head coach, you actually have to be on the field coaching and doing it. See, being a general manager would be fun, but I'm not qualified to do that right now with the salary cap and all that. Do I know how to evaluate players? Yes. But I would be over my head as a general manager at this very point without learning from somebody. I'm not over my head as a coach because I understand it. Not just because I played it, because I study it. While people are out going on vacations, I'm the idiot who sits home and tapes every single NFL game on the weekends and watches them on all these TVs. But that's my job. And so, you know what, when you're a guy that wasn't a superstar or wasn't an NFL MVP, there was other things as a player you had to do to prepare yourself. And I think those have led me to understand the game and see it from a different perspective. So yes, to answer your question, I would love to consider being a coach. I do consider it every year. And college or NFL, love them both. I mean, the atmosphere in a college town, who wouldn't want to do that? Who wouldn't want the atmosphere in Baton Rouge or Knoxville, Tennessee, or Tuscaloosa, Alabama? Come on. I mean, what a great gig that is. So, or Norman, Oklahoma. I mean, come on. That's as good as it gets. I love it. So, yes, I do consider it. Yes, and as far as I think I could coach different positions. Obviously, my strength would be coaching quarterbacks because I watch it, and I'm a grinder when it comes to mechanics, and I'm a grinder when it comes to accepting nothing less than being the best. And I wasn't the best, but I'd hope that I could teach somebody to be the best. So, yeah, I love it, and I consider it every year. And who knows, maybe somebody will knock down my door and give me an opportunity, or maybe I'll just focus on doing that. But right now, I'm a radio guy and an internet guy and a TV guy, and you know what? I love a challenge. Let's just leave it at that. And anytime somebody can present a challenge, I'm up for the task. And the preparation is not something that I shy from. I actually kind of look forward to. So thank you so much for your questions. We'll see where it goes from here, but keep them coming and answer them as best I can, and hopefully we can turn the Raiders around. Hopefully I'll make a decision on what I want to do career-wise, and maybe we can get a college football playoff soon. I'm Sean Salisbury for Open Sports. You guys are the best. Thank you so much.
Think you can complete the drive? Play today and get an automatic entry to win daily prizes, 2 tickets to the big game, and a brand new car. Start your drive today at opensports.com.